How many of you have heard of the neurobehavioral approach? It's a technique used for raising children with neurological disorders. So our FASD kids qualify under that. If you haven't heard of it, look it up. Both my husband and I have been trained and have the books and the worksheets and all that stuff. So we know what we're supposed to do. But knowing what you're supposed to do and doing it when you're a parent isn't always easy. So the big thing with the neurobehavioral approach is you accommodate. And the example that I like to use is if you had a child that couldn't see, that was blind or visually impaired, you wouldn't punish them for not being able to see the blackboard at school. You would make accommodations. So if you have a child with FASD who's incapable of taking that information from the board and transferring it down to paper, you don't punish him for that. You make accommodations. So with Faith being in the hospital or in a treatment center, we've been kind of lax in the locking things up because Faith was our big food hoarder. Jeffrey can't lie, first of all. He can't. He talks like this. So you know right away he's lying to you anyway. And all you have to do is sit there and give him the look. And he eventually cracks. Okay! He just can't handle it. So we've been really just kind of like, we don't need to lock the pantry. We don't need to lock up the fridge. It'll be fine. But my mom radar kind of picked up something was going on. First of all, when he does start sneaking or stealing things, the guilt of what he's done, when he realizes what he's done, can lead him into rages sometimes, or just being really cranky and irritable. And he's had a couple of really rough days at school. Not at home, but at school. And then, so when you have these kids, you kind of become like a detective and like a forensic expert almost. So, because like a few days ago, I'm heading up the stairs, and there's an M&M sitting there on the stairs, and I was like, who got into the M&Ms? We had a little bag of M&Ms in the pantry. And it's not like I don't let them have sweets in this house. But somebody had snuck some M&Ms up the stairs. Well, Faith isn't here. Elijah doesn't sneak food. The boy is underweight, so if he wants food, he knows he can have food. And Dakota's bedroom is downstairs. She doesn't go upstairs. So it just seemed really weird. But it's an M&M, so you're like, okay, I'm not gonna freak out about an M&M. And then I went to get something out of the pantry, and I noticed things were kind of tossed aside. They were different from when I left them. Okay, there's another clue. And then I went to get some ginger. We sell ginger snap cookies in our business. And so we have a big bin of diced dried ginger that I've toasted, ready for the ginger snaps. And the lid wasn't on all the way. I think Jeffrey's getting into the pantry. But I had no way of proving it, and I just really didn't want to go at him without proof. And I really shouldn't go at him anyway. But this morning I get out of the shower, and there is a text from Dakota, and it was so cute. Mom, will you please bust Jeffrey, because I just caught him in the pantry and I don't want to do it. Show me to bust Jeffrey. That is the usual mindset when you're raising neurotypical children. Catch them and give them consequences. But that doesn't work with their FASD kids. I know from experience that if I confront them, especially if I confront them in the act, we have absolute denial followed by rage, and then we could have hours of just wasted time dealing with the complete meltdown. But there's that inner Mom-zilla that comes out, and it's like, this raging Spartan warrior, consequences must be given. He got into the pantry, he's eating ingredients for the business, or I think of that scene in Willy Wonka, where Grandpa Joe asks Mr. Wonka, what about the lifetime supply of candy? And Mr. Wonka's like, you stole fizzy lifting drink, you bumped into the ceiling which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. Good day. That would be a typical parenting response, right? And I had to suppress that. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. It was so hard. Knowing that Jeffrey had gotten into ingredients for the business and just had helped himself, snuck out of his bedroom while I was in the shower. Should probably give him kudos for, planning and forethought. He hears the shower, he sneaks out of his room, goes downstairs. But I was fighting that all morning long, and I know what I'm supposed to do. I've had the training, like I said. I've read the book multiple times. We consider it like our second Bible. We each have a copy on our bedside tables. But it was still so hard. It was so hard to recognize the fact that really I'm the one that needs the consequences because I left the pantry open and unlocked. I gave him access to those things, knowing that this child does not have this self-control and the impulse control to stop himself when he sees an opportunity like that. I'll admit some snarky comments came out, like when he came down the stairs wanting to know what was for breakfast, and it just kind of came out, you're still hungry? And then when I had made breakfast, he of course was like, boom, first one in the kitchen, ready to take a plate. And I was like, maybe we should let Elijah eat first because he hasn't had anything to eat yet today. So Jeffrey knows I know. But had I confronted him, we would have probably had an epic meltdown. We wouldn't have gotten anything done today. And instead, I've been running around since 7, 8 o'clock this morning. But I've gotten a lot accomplished. And that is because I suppressed that inner Mom-zilla, that inner scream for, revenge. And I gave accommodations. So if you haven't yet, look up Shifting the Paradigm, the neurobehavioral approach. And Diane Melvin writes a great book on that, and there is training available to parents, but in a nutshell, it's accommodate the disability. Recognize the disability for what it is, a physical disability, and accommodate accordingly. So there's my little tidbit for the day. If you have anything you'd like to share or comment or ideas that you think would work, please let me know. Create an awesome day.